What I'm going to do now is read to you the affidavit that was presented to a judge this morning with an arrest warrant for Michael Davis.
First at noon, cheers from loved ones of Hunter Brittain as they learn the former deputy who shot and killed the 17-year-old will be charged with manslaughter. This is a big development in this story that we have been following for several months now. THV11's Jordan Howington has been on the story since day one. She's live in Russellville with the new details we've learned today. Jordan.
Hey, good afternoon, Michael. So what we know is the Polk County prosecutor, Jeff Phillips, was appointed a special prosecutor in this case, so this case could be treated fairly. Now, in this morning, in this hearing, courtroom filled with Brittain's family and friends, the prosecutor announced that former Lonoke County Sheriff Deputy Michael Davis will face a manslaughter charge. Now, according to the arrest affidavit, Hunter Brittain was test driving his truck back in June after making repairs early in the morning when Sergeant Michael Davis pulled him over. The deputy's body cam was not activated during any of the stop or at any time of the shooting. Court documents reveal Brittain got out of his vehicle to stop his car from rolling backwards. Sergeant Davis says he gave several commands for Brittain to get back in his truck. However, a friend in the vehicle with Brittain says he never heard the deputy's commands. Brittain, unarmed, was shot once and later died at the hospital. Today, family and friends are thankful for what they say is some justice for Hunter. However, they are not satisfied with the manslaughter charge.
Well, because my nephew was murdered, I feel like, but no, this is a start. This is something, so we're going to take this and we're going to see what else he's got to say, and hopefully this will stick and he won't be an officer no more. He can't kill no more kids.
Davis is expected to appear at a bond hearing on Monday. The Brittain family plans to attend that hearing. Now, the Brittain's attorneys, Ben Crump and Devin Jacob, released a statement following today's announcement. It says in part, these charges are just the first step in the pursuit of justice for Hunter Brittain, whose life was tragically ended by this unjustified use of deadly force. And we hope to see former Officer Davis held to the fullest extent of the law. Now, you can read that full statement on thv-at-noon.com, and we will continue team coverage tonight on THV11 at 5 and 6. For now, live in Russellville, Jordan Howington, THV11 News.
Jordan, thank you for that update. We want to switch gears and turn our attention to the forecast. Meteorologist Scott Covert is out in the garden. Scott, a gloomy afternoon here in Little Rock, but some folks in Arkansas are seeing some showers.
That's exactly right. Those showers have developed. There's actually a little bit of thunder associated with what we're seeing on radar this afternoon. When we do expect this activity to continue over the next few hours. In fact, we actually have another chance of rain on tap for tomorrow. Here's a live look at the entire state. Most of that activity, as you can see, is in parts of eastern Arkansas. A little bit of thunder seen here at the lunch hour in Jefferson County. And these storms are tracking off towards the north and west, pretty scattered in nature, meaning not everyone's going to see the rain, but if you do, they're moving relatively slowly, which is probably going to result in a decent amount of rain, which is good news. We certainly need it. Today we'll continue to see these scattered showers and thunderstorms over the next few hours, eventually tapering off by this evening. 84 is our high temperature. Your weekend looks like this. More rain chances on tap for both tomorrow and Sunday with temperatures in the middle 80s. We are tracking a pretty stout cold front that's going to move through next week. That is going to bring much more seasonable weather. More details on what you can expect coming up.
All right, Scott, thank you. We will see you in a few minutes. We want to get to the other big story of the day that we're following. Government regulators are meeting to review Pfizer's request for booster shots in people 16 and older. The drug manufacturer says a third dose of the COVID-19 vaccine increases protection against the virus and the Delta variant specifically. But FDA approval is not guaranteed, with some questioning the need for a third shot. Natalie Brand has the very latest.
The FDA's advisory committee is debating whether to approve a third booster shot for the Pfizer vaccine.
Findings of effectiveness of the additional dose, while necessary, is not sufficient for an FDA approval. A determination that the additional dose is safe for the intended use is also required.
Dr. Marian Gruber, who announced her retirement this week, co-authored a paper questioning the need for boosters for the general population. Supporters point to Israel, which is already deploying the booster shots. Data from that country showed the shot increased protection against severe illness nearly 20-fold in people 60 and older.
I think people who are vulnerable, people who are older, people with chronic diseases, immunocompromised, they would benefit from a third shot. I think that it is necessary for that group. For young and healthy people, I am far less convinced that we need that third shot.
FDA reviewers warned against relying on studies from other countries because the agency hadn't independently verified the data or their conclusions. While there is debate among scientists, the Biden administration has begun preparations to roll out booster shots as early as next week, pending approval. Some question whether the booster shot is needed to combat the Delta variant spike. Studies show the rise in cases is most prevalent among those who remain unvaccinated.
Regardless of the vaccines evaluated, all vaccines have remained effective in preventing hospitalization and severe disease.
The latest CDC data shows roughly 63% of Americans 12 and older are fully vaccinated. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
So this is the FDA that we're talking about today. The CDC Advisory Committee will meet next week to discuss booster shots. Here in Arkansas, the downward trend continues in new cases, but there is still work to be done. Johns Hopkins University research data from there shows that Arkansas ranks 19th nationally for new cases per capita. The Department of Health reported more than 1,800 new cases in the state on Thursday. And while that continues to help lower our 14-day average, you see that there on your screen on the right side, keep in mind that cases are still well above where they were back in June. Taking a look at our other numbers now, active cases and hospitalizations are down. More than 16,000 people are still dealing with COVID-19 though, and more than 1,000 are fighting it from an Arkansas hospital. Sadly, 33 more people in the state have died from COVID-19. Patients around the country, they have put off doctor's appointments and routine cancer screenings during the pandemic. Caroline Vandergriff caught up with experts who are sounding the alarm that getting checked can be life-saving.
When COVID-19 shut down the country, some medical care was also put on pause.
Screenings in the month of April and 2020 were down by 87%. For breast cancer, 89%, for pap smears for cervical cancer detection.
Routine cancer screenings have since picked back up, but still haven't reached pre-pandemic levels.
I've got a lot of patients who are really, 2 years past when they were due, just based on the timing of things. And that really concerns physicians.
A new survey from the Prevent Cancer Foundation shows 90% of women are visiting friends and going out to eat during the pandemic. But only 48% are visiting their doctor's offices.
Early detection is so key. Are you worried there are going to be cases that were missed through all of this?
We know that there are many, many patients out there right now with undiagnosed breast cancers, cervical cancers, and also colon, prostate, lung, other types of cancers.
I had a routine mammogram, and like so many, I had delayed getting it during the pandemic.
Senator Amy Klobuchar announced last week she battled breast cancer earlier this year.
I came through it, but in the course of it, I found out that thousands of women have undetected breast cancer right now. And 1 in 3 Americans are not moving forward with just routine exams and physicals during the pandemic.
Doctors are encouraging people to get their routine medical care back on track.
I want to reassure people that it is absolutely safe to go into medical facilities.
Because the earlier many conditions are picked up, the better. Caroline Vandergriff, CBS News, Dallas, Texas.
During the first months of the pandemic, hospitals in the U.S. reported a decline in patients being treated for heart attack and stroke. Here's why. Doctors say that was due in part to the increased strain on health systems and patients' fear of contracting COVID. So get out there and get those physicals.